Welcome to the latest edition of WTS Talk, friends. We're really excited that you're here. Waves, claps, hurrah. My name is Hannah Smith. I'm the head of content at Women in Tech SEO, and I will be your host today. We will be kicking things off shortly, but before we do so, just a few housekeeping things from me. Here's how we'll be running the session. Aimee and Nick, who I'll introduce you to shortly, will be presenting for us. Then we're going to move and take questions from attendees. So if you do have a question that you'd like to ask, please pop it in the Q&A. I'll be collating those, and I'll be putting questions to Aimee and Nick when they are finished presenting. For now, though, I will do the introductions. Joining me today are Aimee Jurenka and Nick Lafferty. Aimee Jurenka is an AI visibility strategist at SEO Sustainable and an SEO strategist at Rickety Roo. She specializes in increasing visibility by integrating AI, LLM, and semantic search advancements into scalable, revenue-driven programs. She's led SEO growth initiatives that increased organic traffic by over 2,000%, scaled operational capacity by 180% without adding headcount, and delivered consistent profit margins in excess of 50% month over month. Aimee is also an incredibly active member of WTS. She'll be speaking at WTS Fest Portland next month, which we're super excited for. Welcome to WTS Talk, Aimee. It's wonderful to have you here.
Wonderful to be here.
Yeah.
So,
Joining Aimee for today's session, we also have Nick Lafferty. Nick is head of growth at Profound, the marketing intelligence platform that helps brands win in the age of AI discovery. He was previously Loom's head of growth marketing before going on a 2-year consulting journey, helping brands like Glean, AngelList, Watersheds, Air, Teleport, Typeface, Float Financial, and more open tens of millions of dollars of pipeline from paid ads. Welcome, Nick.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I was nervous what my intro would look like compared to Amy's. I think Amy's like 10 out of 10. Like that was amazing. Like I am honored to share the virtual stage with her.
yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Well, I think you are both tremendous, and I'm
Mhm.
really excited to hear from you today. So I'm just going to say, take it away. I'm going to mute myself. You do you, friends.
All right. Excellent. I will kick it off. So this is how to make yourself hard to replace, right? So there's a lot of doom and gloom out there about traditional SEO, traffic leaving, our jobs going away. And this is the complete opposite. This is all the new opportunities we're seeing that you can add to your job, add to your client list, your client offerings, as well as if you want to get an entire new path or a new job, or you're just starting out as well. So we're going to be going over all the great things that we now have available to us and things that we see opening up to not only keep our jobs, but to even make more money doing it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh, hold on. Let's do it. Here we go. All right, so what's changing, right? So what we're starting to see is that we're going from rankings to recognition and then to selection, right? So it used to be rank, win clicks, traditional SEO. We wanted that SERP position. We got that traffic, we were done. Now it's transferring over to where we want to get chosen, right, by the LLMs. We want to get the credit, which is a citation if we can. And we don't know how to measure it yet. Systems and measurement are completely different than how we used to do it. And so that's the big change that I see is happening that's causing a lot of this turmoil. All right. Now, why is this turmoil a great money moment for us, right? An absolute money moment, right? So leadership is confused. That's a great way for us to step in and be able to have some answers, do some translation, and really make ourselves valuable and be able to lean into those meetings. Measurement is brand new, right? So with new measurement, we're able to get new budget. We can like own the room. We can say the measurement. So you can be the first one to come into your company or in your client base and be like, I know how to measure this. Here's what we're doing. Here's how we're doing it. And then systems matter so much more now. So when you're doing this, systems automatically start to expand, which means we have a lot more opportunity, again, for budget, for pay, for what we're charging our clients and all of that.
Yeah, I talk to a lot of VPs of marketing, CMOs, directors, SEOs as well, and there's still so much interest in this space and a lot of unknowns. And so I think as SEOs, now is kind of the moment for you to seize the like your own authority in the room of like there's never been more interest in this, and so now you can truly position yourself as an expert. And I think your job is not only doing SEO AEO quite well, but then all the internal communication around it and you really becoming the go-to resource. Is That's what the CMOs I talk to every day are asking for, is like who should own this, who should own AI visibility discovery at my company, and SEOs are perfectly positioned for it.
Mhm. Yeah, the leadership is confused, I think, is the key one, because it's a great way, like Nick said, to step in with some answers, some clarity, some definitions. Hopefully, we're going to be able to give you that today. So, um, we have a new scoreboard, right? So what we want to do is be able to figure out some sort of metrics that we can actually provide that would kind of satisfy all that data that we used to get with traditional SEO. So I'm going to let Nick take this one away, since he is from Profound, and let him take this one.
Yeah. And so I think, let's see. So I'm talking now. Let me know if my sound is better. I can keep turning my volume up. Yeah, so at Profound, there's kind of like four levels to this. The first level is, are you visible at all? Are you mentioned in an answer, yes or no, binary, pretty easy. The second is citation share. So is your domain or any domain you own, is that one of the domains or pages that is frequently cited there? Then there's competitive share or share of voice, which is how often you're mentioned among your competitors too. And all of that should be viewed over time. Is these, LLMs, you ask it the same prompt, once a day, 5 times a day, 10 times a day, you'll get a different answer slightly every time. And so our POV at Profound is the right perspective to view this on, is not just one day's answer, but a longitudinal analysis over multiple days, weeks, month, over a well-defined prompt set. And so these are kind of the initial baseline metrics that we see. Some that I'm seeing large companies start to adapt is accuracy. And so imagine you're Apple, you care a lot about if ChatGPT is accurately telling users the iPhone 17 Pro comes in periwinkle and all the different like Apple branded colors that they have. Yeah, graphite, whatever. It's not just black or blue, it's like the Apple branded ones. Like if you're Apple, you care a lot about how accurate those responses are, especially if someone's asking, what phone should I buy? What's better, the iPhone 17 Pro or the Samsung Galaxy S25, like that accuracy of that response is kind of like the next layer to this too.
Yeah, and I feel too that we're going to be seeing a huge shift. Traditional SEO was about rankings and traffic, where I believe AI search is going to be about visibility. And right now, we're not getting those metrics from Google. They're actually stripping out all the prompt data from what you're getting so we can see it by the URL, but then we have to make sure, the correlation just isn't there yet. We are seeing it from Bing, which is great. But I do believe actually reporting on visibility with an actual tool in a format that makes sense is going to be one of the major KPIs and metrics we're going to be moving towards, because the conversations are starting to happen upstream. So they're happening upstream where we can't track them without a click. We can't track what the LLM's doing. We can't do that. So those visibility scores are going to be where we're going to know if we're actually getting in traction in our market. All right. So this is a little bit with the 20 prompts tied to revenue for each persona. That's a little bit of my thing. So if anybody knows kind of the different harebrained things I'm working on, one of them is how large a group of prompts do we need per topic to statistically get a valuable number now that AI is giving us a different answer every single time. We don't have a SERP, right? We don't have a shared reality any longer. I have a couple different tiers, and my starting tier is about 20 prompts, and that's going to be tied per topic to that. Then some competitors, and then of course you want to track your outputs. From there, you can go ahead and get your presence, your citation, your sources. You can do a weekly snapshot and run them. You can run them every day if you want and do that, or you can report on them monthly. So my thing is don't just track one prompt, track 20 per topic. Yeah.
How many topics do you typically track?
That depends on the size of the company and the site. So
Okay.
smaller companies, right? We're going to be looking at like 3 to 5 to 7, right? One of them is going to be brand, of course. But then the larger companies might have, 3 to 5 entities per, per product, per money page.
What do your branded topics look like?
So fuzzy, a little bit fuzzy on that one. So, right. So, branded topics, you have to do your prompt research and everything like that. And it's going to be anything you want your actual brand name to come back for, so they kind of get flipped around a little bit. So the branded topics are all about asking about your brand and your different things, and all that is branded, right? On the prompts are branded. So then the responses are your topic entities. Now your actual topic entities, that's what you want to be known for. That's where you want to get your branded responses. So I need to find a better way to explain that to make it a little bit more simple, or how I'm going to exactly frame that. But you definitely are looking for the LLMs to know about your brand by brand name, what your brand does, who your brand is. And we know that that's going to be a very different answer than, what's the best CRM and who is HubSpot are going to be two very different answers. And so one's your brand and one's your topic entity.
Nice. Yeah, we
Mhm.
we started doing this too, where we do brand versus competitor versus like attribute. And so like, who's
Right.
better, profound or X for enterprise AI visibility versus mid-market AI visibility versus like small business. And so we try and like build this matrix of for each of like company sizes and trying to drill down into like personas and history of like who are you, who are the buckets of people that we want to target, and then how visible are we in each of those. And so that's kind of how we approach like brand slash competitor prompts and topics too.
Yeah. Yeah. I really feel that it's going to be very strategic. We used to do keyword research and we get this big giant list, right? And we might group them, we might not. But a lot of times, we were just doing that inbound marketing where we were just picking those keywords and kind of writing a blog or a topic or a pillar page and kind of just posting it there. And I really feel that Nick's on the right track to where we're going to have to get a lot more personalized. So we're going to have to know what our ICPs are inside those ICPs, what are our personas. And then if we can, maybe even get down to where they are in their journey. Or else it's just going to be like, shots in the dark, just shots in the dark, So, because there's so much personalization going on with that. So I do feel we're going to need a larger group and it's going to be more specialized, and we're probably going to have more groups than we would traditionally have with keyword tracking. What's good, what's bad?
Yeah. I'll
Start
take
off,
I'll I'll
Nick.
take this. Let's do it. Green flags, do you show up at all? Are you mentioned across any at all prompts? How often is your owned domain cited as a source? Typically, we see this anywhere between 5 to 10% of all citations are your domain. Caveat with the typical "it depends" answer there. But like that's typically the range we see, which then is really interesting because then 90 to 95% of citations are off page. Could be social, could be competitors, could be more earned media. And so there's lots of opportunity there. Another one would be, your entity language, your accuracy, your messaging is being pulled through. When you ask Chat or Perplexity, like, what is my company? What do we do? How close is that answer to how you want your brand to be described as well? I found about pages can be really helpful in correcting some of this messaging. So if you don't have an about page, that can be a good way to kind of correct a lot of that. And then just overall stability and growth. Like as you track these things, are you trending up or neutral over time? Those are all good things to look at.
Yeah, and I feel too that a lot of this is going to be directional. So we're going to need enough to find a directional. Are we trending up or are we trending down? Not, hey, we increased by 5 keywords like we used to be able to do, or we did this, by 3 points. It's going to be, more of these trend lines over time, because again, it's all personalized and we're dealing with a larger group of variables. All right, career ladder. Pick your level. I feel like we're in Mortal Kombat when that came up. So for this to be, I feel like not too overwhelming. And also, if anybody knows about me with SEO sustainable, I like everything that I could do to be able to work for the smallest, solopreneur that has little tiny clients up to enterprise size, workers. And I feel like this was a great way to get about it. So you could do lay your groundwork, how about get a raise and expand scope, or get promoted and charge more. The lay your groundwork is going to be what I feel kind of is your baseline, to be able to come in and be like, hey, we're working towards this. I've got this handled. Here's an AI visibility snapshot. And then the results is you can be the translator of that. So it'd be kind of easy to go to your meeting or go into your client call and be like, hey, here's what we got for visibility going on right now using one of those methods above. Here's where we're at, and then be able to open up a conversation about that. Level two, a little bit more advanced, right? And this is more of we're going to go over quite a few things that you can do in level two and level three, but more of a get a raise, expand scope. So we're really trying to work on this. We have people that are interested in it. Your C levels are asking about it. Your VPs asking about it. And so if you can really come in there with some AI ready templates and FAQs, we know AI likes FAQs, side by sides, maybe some internal linking, entity consistent, that about page for the brand facts. Things like that. If you're able to come in with some sort of easy tactic or strategy that you can be like, here's why we're doing this. We'll get to that later. We're going to give that to you. And here's what we're doing. That's where you're going to be able to get that lift.
Yeah, one of the things I do at Profound is I output a weekly summary of our visibility in AI search pulled from Profound and our API into our marketing Slack channel every Monday. So every Monday at 9 a.m., automation runs that says, hey, how visible were we over the last week compared to the week before versus our competitors, and like what's moving, what's growing, what's declining. I do that across visibility and citations. And so I'm big on publicly sharing a lot of that in a Slack channel where people can go and look at it every week. So there are no secrets to how we're doing internally.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're in the Slack channel every week giving knowledgeable information for, let's say, if you were just little Nick starting out, for the entire company to see how valuable you are.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Level three, get promoted, charge more. So this is if you want to go all in. You could actually put together your own AI visibility strategy. Make sure you have a measurement plan with that, and then figure out how you're going to, do some cross-functional leverage. Thing is, like Nick already mentioned, is that we're seeing across LLMs is that the information getting pulled in isn't just from your site. Yes, we can control our site, and that's somewhere where we'd want to start, but we're seeing it come in from a lot of third-party sources. And so we're going to have a lot more opportunity to work with brand, to work with product, to work with PR, and different things like that. And I really see that that's a place where we're going. Okay, to the good stuff. All right. So here's the actual things that we've come up with that you can copy and paste, do a little bit of modification, or decide to add into your repertoire for your next meeting, your next scope of work, anything like that. So a few things we can do that we didn't quite have. We could have always done this in the past, right? But we didn't quite do, right? Brand alignment. So brand alignment's a lot more important than it used to be. Nick mentioned the about page. That's a great one. What you want to do is figure out where your brand positioning is, where it's at right now, and then what we need to do to get to a different place. So that's something we can do. Persona building, that used to live with content. If they wanted to get into personas, I feel that persona building is now going to be an SEO job, because we're going to need it for our prompt research, right? So instead of keyword research, we're doing prompt research. That's how we're going to be able to define that group of prompts that actually mean something to our company. Traffic measurement. Anything we can do, right? Bot hits out of your log files, Bing AI report. Now, Google Search Console and GA4 may be able to give us impressions. Again, it's all grouped together and we're not getting the prompt data out of them. Of course, AI tracking tools. Any tracking measurement right now, I think, is going to be incredibly valuable to leadership. And I really think that's how you're going to be able to get in and really make that career growth if you want to quickly get the attention in the meetings. Conversion rate optimization for AI search. So this isn't just you land on your site and you're doing that. This is specifically for the traffic coming in from AI search, or getting them to convert from the actual surface. How to do this, I'm not sure, but it's definitely an opportunity for us.
Yeah, I think the best opportunity for SEOs is really like cross-functional communication and alignment too. Of there's never been more interest in this topic. Your PR team cares about AI search. Your content team obviously cares about it. Your product marketing team cares about it, and all of those folks are experts in individual areas that can help you build this really holistic strategy. And so product marketers in particular, building personas is literally their job. And so it's probably a good amount of info and insight you can pull from any product marketing team or resourcing you have that would make your job 10 times easier.
Mhm. And they'll probably just be happy somebody asked them what they're doing.
Right?
So we've got more. You could do, and this is more of, I guess you could do this in-house as well, but the baseline plus prompt set. So you can give somebody their AI visibility baseline and then do their 20 prompts per persona on each topic. So that could be something that you could provide to a client, and that's it. You give them the baseline and the prompts. That's what they get. That's the deliverable. You're done. You move on as a project. Or you could also supply that to the SEO team or work on that in-house. Monthly snapshot, like Nick was talking about. Again, I think that's like a fantastic way to get eyeballs on you, especially if you're new and you're trying to come up in a company, to get that monthly snapshot in right now, as well as also a retainer add-on you can do. Gap analysis, same as a keyword analysis, we're just using AI information, right? You versus your competitors, this is a lot where that accuracy comes in. We are seeing like AI hallucinations. If you see an AI hallucination, that is a content opportunity. That is AI, somebody asking a question about your company or your product, and AI does not have the answer yet. So definitely always look into that for a great one as well. And then everybody's looking to automate this. So any sort of content systems, any AI ready templates, internal linking strategies, entity consistency, any of that sort of stuff that we can show and implement site wide, and change like how our writers write or how to do that, like future foundation going forward. It's going to be incredibly beneficial.
Yeah. And some of the best gap analysis is a simple screenshot of you asking ChatGPT a question, like what are the best X? And if your company, your client doesn't show up, that works the best. Like Profound, we've tested all these like fancy reports. You plug in your domain, you get all these stats. Nothing hits harder than a screenshot of ChatGPT where your brand or your client doesn't show up. And so sometimes like the easy, low fidelity way is the best way to get your point across too.
Nice. All right. Entity consistency pass. This is your brand facts and your page alignment. Basically, this is, are you known for the attributes or topics that you want to be known for? And if you're not, how are we going to get there, of course? And then also, are you known for things you don't want to be known for? So that is also another thing. That's kind of where we're getting into, I'm going to call it like similar to off page, but PR and press and stuff like that, where we can have those opportunities as well. Site structure for AI search. That's more of is a site organized and defined by those topics? And do you have those connections already built into the site structure for AI to be able to see and understand what you do? Cited source content plan. So I'm sure Nick will be able to have a lot of information on this one. This is your exactly who's getting cited in your industry, where they're getting cited from, and then your content plan on how to go ahead and get those citations for yourself. And then executive narrative slide. Again, this is one of those about the mentioned ones, but that executive narrative slide, if you're able to provide that for your VP or for your client to give to their VP or any of that, where they're able to have a slide every month, it's going to explain what they're doing, what's going on, what's happening, that the leadership can get, that they can understand. You kind of like the screenshot, anything like that, that's going to be incredibly beneficial. I
Mhm.
feel C-levels want this so bad and they want to understand it so bad and they knew SEO and they understood inbound marketing. HubSpot did a great job. And like, so everybody kind of understood that and now they want to understand it. So any like little tidbit that they can grasp on that they feel like they can understand is going to be what they run with. And so it's a great opportunity for us to step in and give them those tidbits to be able to show that we are valuable.
Yeah, like the C-suite is nervous. Like that's if I could like make one takeaway out of all of this is that your boss, C-suite, investors, your board, they're nervous about this. And so the more you can assuage, their concerns and show up with confidence, lean into the moment and say, look, like good SEO will give us a good foundation for AEO. And then here is kind of the other tactics, strategies off page, Reddit, LinkedIn, Wikipedia, whatever those things are, and kind of map out the whole universe of possibilities for them. And half of your job now is making them feel confident. And then if they're confident, and then everything else is easier, you get resourcing, you get buy-in, you get raises, you get all of this stuff. But once you understand that leadership is nervous and that kind of helps understand where they're coming from, so then you can be the vitamin or the painkiller to their anxiety.
Be the hero of the
Yes.
day.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So we do have some what I'm calling cheat sheets. This is just the sort of an overall a way of how to phrase what we're doing. So a big thing I've noticed is, you know, again, traditional SEO, we all knew it, C-levels knew it, clients knew it. I've had plumbers that have never been on a computer tell me that they need to do inbound marketing. So it was very well. So how are we now going to phrase, hey, this is what it was and this is what we're doing now? I feel like we need to make a differentiation between traditional or foundational SEO and what that is and what AI search is. Primarily for the, customer journey and the KPIs so they can understand that we're not going to be reporting on traffic any longer and why not. So these are just a great way to kind of go down of like, here's what's changed, here's what at risk. That's really showing them what if you don't add these things in, what we could be losing. Again, not to say that we're hitting on the fears, but we're acknowledging that those fears are true and that they're real. Have a plan, how you're going to measure, and then you go in with what I need. Right. So what I need is this sort of budget. What I need is two people below me. What I need is an increase of scope, for this monthly allocation. What I need is a new allocation, a new scope of work just for this program. And so I really feel that's a good one to come in with.
This is perfect. This is amazing. Yeah, like the here's like you tee up everything and then you end with the here's what I need. And yeah, that's how you get more buy-in.
Yep. 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 All right. I just threw this one in here like 10 seconds before. So here we go, Nick. Um, as I was going along and doing this, I saw that we were really expanding on, hey, we're already in an SEO position. We're already, at a company. We're already working with clients, exactly. How are we transitioning ourselves to say, hey, we don't just do SEO anymore, but we're also taking advantage of this AI search moment. And then was like, there's a bunch of new opportunities for if you're brand new or you want to switch your niche, you want to switch your focus, anything like that. And so I really wanted to kind of dive in a little bit of some of those opportunities. And so instead of the new offering, here's the whole new menu. Um, I'm sure there's going to be more that come out. If you guys all have some, let me know because I'm part of the All Acronyms Welcome Club. I love the idea that this is an opportunity for us to expand and change and find new passions and find different things that we're able to do. And so let's throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. But my favorite right now, selection rate optimization. So that's something we didn't have in traditional search. And what this is how to format, how to technically create your content on the back end to have your citations, to have your mentions actually pulled and your citations actually survive that pulling. So Dan Petrovic's done some research on this, and it's been absolutely great. I wrote an article on WTS about this, and it's the actual science behind how we can start to maybe doing that technical side of AI search and format our content in a way that the bots actually see it, format it, and just pull it directly in instead of reformatting it or stripping that citation out of there. Content engineer. So this is one that we've been seeing where you're able to, it's like AI creating AI, right? So content engineer is about creating content, right? In a way, in a path. I think Profound has sheets. We're able to take the information, right, put it into a large system, and then be able to update your content on that visibility information at bulk, and it does, and also using those stats behind it. I will tell you, this needs a human in the loop, right? If you are a content editor, this is a great place for you to go into. If you're not a content editor, you're not that much into writing, you could kind of do this, but really this is going to be an editorial job for those writers who want to transition into there. I only say that because I'm not a writer, and so I let all sorts of slop slip through. I scan, and then, yeah, I'm like, oh no! Relevance engineer, I've heard this come around. Relevance engineer and AI visibility strategist, I feel are in the same boat, but relevance engineer is, hey, I just focus on AI search, the technical stuff behind it. I'm deep into this. It's all about just surfaces and how that's transitioning over and how those surfaces are going to take over the world. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're AI visibility strategist is kind of in the middle. And it's like, hey, let's integrate AI visibility tactics into your current SEO program and bridge that gap. I'm going to be that person that comes in as an AI visibility strategist and let you know, hey, here's our foundational SEO and here's where we're at with that. And here's what we need now to do for AI visibility as well. Big emphasis on don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. So we don't want to do things that harm our traditional SEO for AI visibility, especially right now. So even though we know that's where it's going, we know Google's going to make us do AI mode no matter if we want to or not. We do need to recognize that the majority of search is still happening on traditional search, and we do not want to destroy that in order for our AI search. Just
Yeah,
a little
as
rant.
someone
Okay.
No, that was fantastic. Like we hire a lot of people at Profound. I am a hiring manager, and the common thing I see is people don't apply for jobs if they don't check all the boxes. You don't need to check 100% of the boxes on a job application to apply. You just need to check most of them, 60%, 70% of them. And so, like, don't be afraid to apply and go all in. I'm a bit of a personal story. I'm dating someone right now who runs SEO at an agency. She's applying for in-house jobs. And so I've been walking through and watching the process that she's going through. She's getting a job offer today in like a couple hours to go in-house, which is exciting. But all the places that she interviewed, everyone is asking about AI search. The place that she's getting a job offer from happens to use Profound as well. And that like AEO AI strategy was a big part of her interview and case study process. And so this area is coming up in a lot of places. And yeah, it would be good to just like, yeah, to focus on this.
Exactly, exactly. And give the people what they want. So I know there's it's just SEO gang. They're on the opposite side of me. That's fine. We can sharks and jets it all the time. And good banter and discourse is really it's good to have. But I feel that clients and leadership and stuff, they want you to talk about AI search, whether you've changed your tactics or not. They want to know that you're looking forward to it. They're excited about it. And it's just SEO, I think, is going to fall behind. And this is a great opportunity to get some of our just SEO taken care of. So one of the opportunities I've seen is if we can just tweak our language a little bit in our industry, we can get those dev tickets that have been stacked up in Jira for the last 5 years that everybody's been putting on the back burner because they wanted to create a new product or they wanted to do a new initiative. Yeah, exactly. We could probably get those pumped through. So jump on it now. Jump on it now. Definitely. All right. So, all right. Educate, expand, elevate. So that's the big thing. For the big thing that I'm taking away from here is you want to educate leadership. You want to let the team, your client. What you could do is super easy. Just add 1 to 3 of these new value items to your program. Just pick one that you think is going to be easy, that you can do, something that you're excited about, something that seems manageable, and then claim the narrative. Claiming the narrative is going to be the big part of this. So you really go in and educate, show what's going on, and then you're really that person who's able to say, I know what we're doing about this. Yeah. All righty. Now we do have the cheat sheets. So for all of you, after this, we do have some cheat sheets. What time is it? Anybody?
It's the 33. I think we have 10 more minutes, 12 more minutes. Is that right?
Sweet. Fantastic. Let's go over some cheat sheets. So we went really quickly over the offer menu and different things we could do. And so this is just flipped right over. So this is what we could actually do. So here's what you can actually say and kind of base it off of, right? So here's the brand alignment. AI picks answers from brands, right, that it can confidently understand and classify, right? Then we can go into our messaging. The messaging is inconsistent. We're not going to get selected. Here's our plan. Here's how we're going to measure it. And then again, here's what I need. So these are all going to have the here's what I need at the end. So how you can phrase it, you can align this, you can copy this straight from the deck that we send out, and then pop it into your own LLM, right? And customize it for your own program, how you want to do it, persona building if you don't already have this. And again, it's the what's changed, here's the risk, here's the plan, how we're going to measure it, because they always want numbers. They're always going to want a numbers or a score. And then the how I need at the end. And that's really the valuable part. So we were going to have this for the traffic measurement, the tooling, right? The conversion rate, optimization, baseline and prompt set that you want to offer, right? Monthly snapshot, right? The gap analysis, content systems, entity consistency path, site structure. Boo, 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 boo. This one I think is going to be huge. Cited source content. Again, look at gap analysis on your citations. You can pull all that. out and then say, hey, here's where everybody's citing us. Here's where we want to go be. Here's where we need to get published at. That executive narrative slide, right? And so all of these are going to be sent out to you for you to be able to utilize and kind of take that as inspiration or some guidelines or some framework to actually be able to take these kind of ideas and see how you want to apply them to your own career.
Yeah. Aimee,
Yeah.
someone asked about the CRO part earlier. Could you
Yeah.
just kind of hover over
Let's
well
go back.
not yeah, go back to the CRO, like here's what's changed. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So here's CRO. I will tell you 100% I put this in there and I do not have it completely fleshed out yet. In the past, till this week, I was thinking about conversion rate optimization of, hey, we're getting less traffic. Let's make sure that we're doing conversion rate optimization for companies that weren't doing it yet, right? Or agencies didn't have that department yet. And that still is a good opportunity for us. But then it clicked that a lot of the decision and the conversions rates are happening on the AI surface. So if we can figure out how to get into that conversation, right? Not just the visibility of the mentions, the citations. Kevin Inga did a great study about when people actually click out to that. We're also talking about like direct and organic branded searches increasing after you do an AI visibility initiative that reaches that AI visibility because they leave that surface and go straight to your site. And so this is the idea of how do we improve the conversion rate on the AI surface. We do know that we're starting to see ChatGPT where we can buy products inside of there. I don't know if anybody's done it yet. I haven't pulled the trigger myself. And AI agents are coming out, and I'm so excited to tell Google, hey, I want these boots in this size for this price, right? As soon as you find them, go ahead and buy them for me. We'll see how big of a mess that turns out to be, or the Wonder Bar thing I think it's going to be. But with agents, right, and with being able to buy and making decisions inside of these surfaces, it's really something we should start thinking about.
yeah, I think a lot of CRO for AI search happens before the person lands on your page too. And like kind of what I mean by that is really optimizing for those high intent bottom of funnel prompts of how does your product compare to your competitors? What's better? What's like the most affordable product in my space? And then I think a lot of the buying decision can happen within AI search itself. And then by the time someone clicks out or navigates out or branded searches you on Google, a lot of their decision is kind of already made at that point too. And so I would consider like moving CRO a bit before they even land on your website and like into like the prompt visibility tracking as well.
Yeah, I've been hearing it called upstream marketing.
Mm,
Right.
I
So
like
the, a
that.
lot of AI services, since whereas we had the funnel and we were trying to get traffic, inbound traffic for SEO, the AI is going to be search is going to be about upstream marketing. And I think that's where this CRO conversion rate optimization pre might have a spot. If y'all have ideas, let me know. Because I love putting these ideas out there and then seeing what we all come up with. My
Yeah.
favorite part
I
of this
was
is
I was wondering if this is like perhaps a place where sentiment comes in, because I'm really interested in like not personally, just personally, I'm really interested in not just whether or not you're mentioned or cited, but like like the sentiment of how you're mentioned and cited. And kind of it occurs to me, to your point, Aimee, about like kind of conversion rate optimization happening not on your site maybe and further up the funnel. Like sentiment feels like a space where maybe we can play there. Do you know what I mean in terms of doing
yeah.
things to shape better sentiment
Yeah,
maybe?
100%. Yeah, I was just talking to somebody the other day and a fairly large B2B SaaS company. And they were like, we know that our ICPs are on LLMs and they're doing AI search and they believe it's there whether it's true or not. And so we need to not only get our visibility and our mentions there, mentions are almost more important than citations for them, but we need to make sure that it's accurate and it's what we want it to say. So yeah, maybe it's a sentiment rate optimization. Oh,
Yeah.
but that goes with selection rate. Anyways, here we are, guys. Throw it at the wall. Let's see what sticks. This is the best
I
part.
have a I have a quick story here that's relevant. So quick plug, like Profound, we do sentiment tracking, sentiment analysis. I was on a call with a UK holiday camping company where you like organize different places you can go on holiday and go camping in the UK. And so we were tracking sentiment for them. And then within the sentiment tracking prompts, we looked at what pages were cited. And one of the most cited pages was their Trustpilot review page, where they
Mm.
had
Mm.
awful reviews. And that was being pulled through. And so people were asking,
Mm.
prompts like, is this a good place to take my family on holiday? ChatGPT was saying no and citing all of these abysmal Trustpilot reviews. And so, one, like they probably need to fix some things with their company and product. Like that's just a symptom of bad experiences aggregated over time. But I do think sentiment is an interesting part of this. Is I bet a lot of people disqualified this, holiday, camping company because of they do a quick gut check and the sentiment was bad. Like, oh, I don't want to take my family to a place that has terrible bathrooms or something. And so that stuff matters.
Yeah.
And I think certainly something that I find really interesting is like from the broadest marketing perspective, this always happened, we just didn't know, right? So like all of this stuff was always out there and probably impacted people's purchasing decisions, but we didn't have such good intelligence, I guess, as we have now. So before, those poor Trustpilot reviews of that holiday place in the UK have always been there and probably have always negatively impacted sales for this company. It's just now it's really clear and they really know about it. It's in some ways it's kind of empowering, right?
Yeah, I guess that's one of the great things about the personalization that's happening, right? With us, our customer journey, as well as us as marketers, is that sort of stuff's going to get pulled in. People are asking those types of questions.
Mm.
And it's again another opportunity for us to work with brand or to take on some of that brand role, right? Maybe even call it digital PR if it's another sort of, yeah, something
Reputation
like that.
management is coming back.
There it is.
Coming back. Reputation management, it's definitely coming back. So I'm going to go to some questions if that's cool with you two, because I do just want to make sure that we like give you the opportunity to answer these. So Anik asked, which affordable and secure tools have you used to track AI visibility? They say my employer has Ahrefs, but it is sadly out of their budget. Like the AI visibility tracking option is out of their budget.
Mm.
Obviously, Nick suggested Profound. We love Profound. It's an incredibly good product. I'd love to hear from you, Aimee. Nick, just to be clear, I'm not silencing Nick. He answered this question in the chat, but Aimee, you didn't. I just wondered if we could get your take. I'm sure you also love Profound, but there are other tools
Yep.
available.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually did a another article. God, I'm just name dropping like crazy
Yeah.
about the AI tools last year, and I'll be updating that soon. That's almost on the docket for me to be updating. Yeah. So Profound will be part of it, Nick. I've decided you're going to stay. But what I really noticed when I did that analysis and when I was writing that article, because again, I think about, hey, what about the smallest company to up to the largest enterprise? What's going to work for you? And what I found when it came to rank tracking in those tools is you really need to find the one that works for your strategy. So if the prompt tracking isn't there, you can always get an API and automate that yourself. We can actually build those tools on Claude and those SaaS tools ourselves. Don't look at me that way, Nick. But we can actually do that, right? If we're that small, I just built one and put it on my own personal website. So that is something that we're able to do these days if we're that small. But when it comes to the actual tools, what I want are the tools that give me the information I'm going to need to action my strategy or give me the ideas I need or the screenshots I need. So even though we're not all at enterprise level with Profound, which is fantastic. I mean, well, not that we're not at enterprise, but Profound's a fantastic tool. There are sort of DIY ways to go about this, as well as a large variety of tools. So check out my article. Keep
I've
looking
just
out for
linked it.
new
I've
ones
just
coming
linked it
out.
in the
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. And
yeah.
it's going to be updated soon. So I'm almost
Yeah.
got enough room in my schedule after this to start practicing my speech and then, yeah, start updating that article as well on the side of my full-time gig.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I take up all of Aimee's time. At this
I
point
love
in
it.
time, it's just Aimee doing stuff for us with WTS, which is
Yeah.
amazing. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I also have a few other questions, which I have now just lost. We've got one from Farah here. Um, Farah says, oh, sorry, I've just scrolled past it. How important are AI bot tracking tools versus visibility tools? So, do you understand the difference in the question there? Yeah, yeah,
I do. Yes. Yeah. I
yes.
think I
Thank you.
answered her or them in in the chat, but I mean the answer is both. Like do both. Like tracking AI bot visits, and you can all of them have different user agents too. And so you can segment based on ChatGPT's user agents that do training, citations, whatever. Like that's important, and that'll give you a holistic view. And then prompt tracking will help you understand your visibility for certain prompts. And so it's like both gives you good coverage. Aimee, I don't know if you had anything to add.
Like that, I view them as two separate things. So the AI visibility is the citations and mentions that actually made it through that selection rate that actually got selected. And then the bot traffic is when you know the AI is crawling you. So it's almost like the bot traffic is the early indicator, where the mentions and the citations are the so much more the end goal. And so if you have a new piece of content or you have something going on and you see a whole bunch of bot traffic increase to that, you're like, great, the bots are reading it. And then you kind of see downstream if that visibility kind of went connected with it. Oh, and AI bots, you can find those 404s for those hallucinations.
Nice, nice. Thank you. We also have another question, also from Farah. What are your opinions on human visuals without brand imagery as a content that AI seems to prefer? Um, a PR firm did some research and shared that as an insight. I'm not quite sure.
Are we talking about AI choosing images for answers?
Yes, I think so. I think so. Maybe Farah, if you can hop into the chat again and maybe just clarify.
One of yeah, while
I'm not
she while
sure.
they clarifies yes and no, choosing content to use in their answers. Hmm. I don't think I fully understand.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, sorry.
Are we talking about branded informational content versus generic informational content?
I'm not sure. We'll come back to that. Maybe Farah can clarify that in the chat. Um I also have a like another question. Um, in your opinion, like how important is citation share? So by that I mean how important is it that your own brand content is getting cited versus just getting the mention, but actually you're being cited by someone else? Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I have my own POV on this.
Mm.
I think it matters more the bigger the company you are.
Hmm.
The example I give is that Figma and Adobe, like two competing products, two quite large companies in the same space. I think if you're Figma, you would much rather your domain be cited more often. So your POV on design systems and the whole design industry is kind of what gets pulled through versus Adobe. Like everyone would prefer that their own content gets cited and pulled through. So I think from a larger brand narrative, messaging, positioning standpoint, I think citation share is more interesting and a bigger priority for larger companies. I think if you're a smaller company or a startup, your problem is just getting mentioned at all. And so it's kind of like, how do you solve kind of like these stair step problems of get mentioned, good, okay, and then now how do we control more of the citations is a next level to focus on.
Mhm. Aimee, do you have any like you're just nodding. That's fine. If you
Oh,
just
no.
agree, that's fine.
I'm a little bit different. So this is also the new, SEO versus AI search. So in SEO, it depends. In AI
Yeah.
search, it's I don't know. So we don't know the customer journey quite yet. Like I said, there's been a couple studies, but not enough for us to really know, right? If citations, in my opinion, if citations drive those sales or drives the traffic that's going to drive that revenue, or if mentions is a number one thing, we're going to see more of that direct traffic come in. So I don't know. That's where we're at.
It's all still in flux, hey? It's all still in flux. Oh, okay. So we've just got some clarity, I think, from Farah or Farah. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, in the chat. So there was some research that concluded that human visuals get a higher chance of citation, i.e., no branding included. The top five were apparently answer style articles, comparison articles, human visuals, more credible expert voices, high topic prominence in headlines. That is an interesting study. Unfortunately, I've not come across that one. It does sound like it's a potentially interesting study. Thoughts, feelings, people? Tell me things.
Yeah, like my question is like human visuals compared to like AI generated visuals. Like, is that I guess like the comparison being drawn? Look, tactically, what I'm doing at Profound is we have some blogs where we have research and data, and we have very pretty JavaScript embedded pie charts and bar charts that
Mm,
humans can hover over and see all these like cool interactive animations and stuff. Those are all sadly invisible to our AI user agent friends. And
mm,
so the SOP that we've established is that anytime we have a JavaScript widget of anything on our blogs, that will also duplicate it in the body copy of the blog post. And so if we have a pretty bar chart, underneath it we'll have a markdown table that has all of the same info. So to a human, it seems a little duplicative of you have pretty image and then a table underneath it, but to the AI, all they see is the image, the table, and so that's what I
yeah.
want to make sure is always visible.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I'm honestly I'm kind of fascinated. Farah, maybe you can drop a link to this research in the webinar chat, just because honestly, like I'm fascinated. I'd love to read this. I'd love to like dig into this a little bit more. Unhappily, it sounds like we don't necessarily have a great answer for you right now, but like thanks for bringing this. Really, really interesting. I'm gonna move on. Got one more question here. Um, Aimee, uh, there is a question about your article. I'm assuming it is about your latest article, the selection optimization. Is that? Yes, thank you. Um, you've got a section about e-commerce brands in there. Can you speak to it? Can you speak a little bit more about like the things that e-commerce brands, I guess, need to consider from a selection optimization perspective?
I gotta pull it up to remember what I wrote.
I know, right?
So, okay. Um, Now I do know with e-commerce brands, we are starting to see a difference because people, like I said, can make decisions in there. And then there's also been a study that when it comes down to e-commerce, they actually do click out from those citations to go buy the product. So what they're in the end of the journey for that. And so having those citations in there is great, as well as, let's see, I'm trying to think.
You know what? Like I've just given you a totally horrible steer, Amy. It's not.
Mhm.
It's not this. I assumed it was the selection optimization article.
Oh,
It's not. It's the comparisons article. So yeah, like which is the best AI tools for like e-commerce brands? And I'm guessing that's because like e-commerce brands have like different
yep.
needs in terms of what they're looking to
Mhm,
track,
mhm.
right?
Yeah, yeah. And right now, the best ones for e-commerce brands is anybody that gives you shopping information. So the majority of the AI tools that I see that I've gone through, that makes the question a little bit easier for me.
Sorry.
No, no, no. I was like, and it's early here in the US. It's not
I
even 8 a.m. yet. So I was
know.
like, oh man, okay. Or not even 9 a.m. yet. So there are only a few specific tools. There's probably more now that when I did this original study that actually offered the AI shopping information. So they actually offered the e-commerce information and e-commerce strategy and e-commerce visibility. So that would be the thing that you really want to look for when you're looking at a tool for e-commerce is the specific availability to track those and to know those. So this new update, I am going to be looking into I know there's a ChatGPT feed that Shopify automatically has to get your products included in ChatGPT, but there is also a form you can fill out and a format that you can do to be considered for that or be available for that. And it is different than Merchant Center. So I was hoping it was going to be the same feed, right? And I could just tell my clients you need PayPal and a Merchant Center, and it's the same feed.
Mm.
No, 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 no. Of course it isn't. Of course it isn't. So,
Why?
well, why not? So that is the things that I'll be looking at again is like what are the e-commerce metrics?
Mm.
What are they telling me about visibility? Are they telling me if basically my merchant center for ChatGPT are being visible? Am I able to buy things in there? That's what I'd really be looking for.
Beautiful, beautiful. Nick, what are your e-commerce? You have a bunch of e-commerce brands with you, right? Are you able to share a little bit about what they are most interested in? Like, perhaps the ways that they specifically use Profound?
Yes, yes, I am. And so one, like if you're an SEO looking at tools, there's two types of AI visibility tools. Ones that query the API of ChatGPT, et cetera, which you can vibe code yourself. When you do that, you will never see the shopping experience because the shopping UI only happens on chatgpt.com. So the other type of AI visibility tool, which Profound falls in, is one that looks at the front end and queries the front end of all of these things, and that's how you get the the shopping experience. And so within Profound, we have a whole shopping function that will show you how often your products are mentioned, what images, what order, all of those things. And I'll put a blog post in the chat that we have. We've done a bunch of research around shopping, like what retailers does ChatGPT actually send shoppers to? We've also done research to see how often shopping gets triggered. I'll put a link to that as well in the chat. Let me make sure I put those in the right place. Cool. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, like shopping. Basically, what triggers shopping is if you're looking for a product that fits in a shopping cart, like small products, like cars, too big. Cars don't show up. Coffee
Okay.
pots, sneakers, blazers, jumpers. I'm trying to use the like UK terminology here.
It's all
uh,
beautiful. Thank you. Appreciate.
trousers, all of those, if it fits in a shopping cart, that tends to trigger it. Often, apparel and fashion trigger shopping about 62% of the time, physical products, 56% of the time, health products, 6%, software, 0%, services, 0%. All of these are kind of in the blog posts I've referenced, but yeah, if you're a small physical goods retailer, then you're probably much more interested in the shopping experience as it exists today.
Cool. And sorry, just to like add to that, like another question I'm curious about. What do some of like the bigger e-commerce brands like particularly care about like beyond shopping? Like in terms of because I hear you about yeah, sometimes something will trigger shopping, but like I could imagine, for example, like if I were Nike, I would be super interested in understanding like where my products were winning. So like if somebody is like searching for like, I don't know, like the best trail running shoes, like am I winning as Nike or as someone else? Do you know what I mean? Like beyond
Mhm.
just the shopping.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of the big retailers care about what position they're in the shopping
Hmm.
experience. And so that's when I think the analog to Google SERP is most relevant. Of you have
Yeah.
position one in shopping, position two in shopping, and so all of these big retailers want to be position one because that is like all of everyone's brains are used to like, oh, if a product is
Bias.
first, then it's better, and so we see much higher click
Mm.
through and purchase rates. The first blog post I linked has a bunch of interesting data of like Walmart versus Target, and like what position they are in the shopping experience. And so, yeah, the bigger you are, the more you care about specifically where you are across not
Mm.
just, one topic, one area, but like your whole suite of products.